Okay, our next technique sample is called slip basting. This is a good technique to use if you're trying to match your fabric, if there's some kind of artwork, plaid, stripe, or something else. You can do this technique on the right side of the garment so you can really see where your print is. So here I have two raw edges. So I'm gonna fold under one of the raw edges, whatever your seam allowance is. And I actually like to line that up with my other seam allowance here. There we are, and fold that over. And here I can visually see and try to match my print, as best as I can as well. It's probably a good idea to put in some pins. Okay, let me grab one. Just to kind of hold it together. Okay. Alrighty. And slip basting, you want to go ahead, start with a knot at the end of your thread. Single needle thread's fine, cotton thread's recommended. And this is actually going to be very similar to actual slip stitch. The difference between basting and the slip stitch is that the basting, we take longer stitches, probably just because it's quicker. We know we're going to take it out eventually, where the actual slip stitch, the goal is to try to just catch like one little thread so that you really don't see it and it becomes kind of invisible. But with basting, it's okay to do like 1/4 inch, a little bit longer. So that's what we're going to do in this sample. Let's see here. Yes, so if you'd like to follow along in your book, it's on page 75. I'm going to do my first stitch to hide my waist knot underneath that little folded part that I made. Just going to kind of stick that in there. That way my waist knot's kind of hidden. And I'm just going to stitch about 1/4 inch on the bottom part of the fabric. So that's just one layer. I'm not getting the top layer at this point, but it's very close to where the fold is. I'm going to pull my thread through. And then now I'm going to stitch inside the fold, probably about 1/4 inch away. Get right in there. Oops. Okay. And it's like I'm inside that tunnel now, right? That little fold that I made. And then you can take like a little longer stitch if you want, maybe, or just keep it 1/4 inch. Okay, and pull that tight. And then again, I'm gonna go ahead and just do like a small stitch on the lower fabric. Okay, and then now I'm gonna go inside the tunnel, that little folded fabric. Okay, so I'm not getting all 3 layers, it's just getting what's inside that tunnel. The fold of the fabric, I guess I should say. Take out my pin. And I'm stitching just that one bottom layer. Going back into the fold of my fabric. And then I could do a little end knot at the end if I want. Maybe I'll do one more stitch on my bottom fabric. Okay, and then I could just tie it off with like a little stitch and put my needle in through the hole. If I'd like to do a double knot, I could do a double knot as well. Okay, there you go. So your textbook talks about that. This technique actually doesn't totally prevent your fabric from moving, so it can still kind of move. And now you can see I kind of pulled it a little bit. Now my stripes don't match up. So sometimes this is actually followed with another reinforcement stitch. Let's see here. What do they say they use? Fell stitching is often substituted for this one, which is interesting. And then or an additional row of even basting might be added actually right below. When you do the even basting stitch, you are catching all of the seam allowance. So that's another technique to just really ensure that your fabric doesn't shift and your pattern still matches up. But this technique sample is just to demonstrate how to do the slip basting, but just know it could be combined with other stitches during projects.